I've quickly dropped in here to talk to you. As you can see, I've just got ready to go out and do some work in the yard. And I think this is really pertinent. I'm a little bit pissed off, and I think that corruption in the state needs to be exposed. I was in court today to support a good friend who's up against the police. And I want to tell you a little bit about how the court system works here while I'm angry about it. If the police come around to your house, arrest you in front of your friends or in your workplace, drag you away, lock you up in jail, and then take you to court or issue charges against you that you know aren't valid, what is the first thing you're going to do while you're in that jail for the first time or in the back of that paddy wagon? What are your friends and family going to do? They're going to ring the lawyers straight away, aren't they? And generally, in that fear factor, and I've been there just recently, you will ask for the best lawyer you can get. So, lawyer goes in and represents you in court. And the first time he attends, they have to put it off, and the second time they put it off. Then there'll be a pre-trial conference. Then they'll book for a trial, which could be in months' time. By now, your legal fees have already exceeded $7,000 to $10,000. Now, the police then work out that they've made a mistake, right? Or they were doing it as an intimidation tactic, or for whatever reason it may be. So then they drop the charges on you, and you breathe a sigh of relief and go home. But you've done nothing wrong. You were the innocent party, and you have to wear a $7,000 to $10,000 fee. Why don't the police, why isn't there avenues in Australia for the police to be held to account for what they've done? Now, this has happened to me, and this happened to a good friend today, and I was in court today, where they dropped the charges. Now, he's already got a bill of over $10,000. He was arrested and physically assaulted by police without due cause. Now he's been released. Oh, we're sorry. Well, $10,000 is a lot of money. Why aren't they held to account? What they're trying to change is laws around the country to make sure that you can't sue these officers if they do this to you. In my case, and I want to go into my case because it really does piss me off. Last year in about March, I butted in to help an animal shelter called Mark Shelter. And all I did was go up there thinking I could work with the RSPCA and Mark Shelter and find a nice equal way through the whole ordeal. The RSPCA were breaking the law from my point of view, so I tried to hold them to account. Now, the chief inspector at the time, who's now been sacked, made some stupid statements, and I was recording it, so I put that on YouTube. Alright, I think everyone needs to know that. There's nothing wrong with me doing that. The result of that is he asked a couple of his mates from SAPOL, and this is my opinion, to intimidate me. So I received a phone call one day coming back from Maruk from whose people that purported to be his children, saying that Dad's going to sort you out, he's got mates in the police force. That didn't bother me, I'd never done anything wrong in my life. Police turned up that night to do a gun inspection on my house. There was nothing wrong with the storage of my guns, there never has been. I have a 22 pistol shooter, and I have 2 collector's rifles handed down which don't operate, and we have 2 rifles for the sanctuary. I do animal rescue, and we own a sanctuary, and they are a tool of the sanctuary. And thank God we don't have to use them very often, if at all. But the fact is, I was a licensed and gun owner, and I had adhered to all the rules and requirements to do that. They seized all of those weapons, and I shouldn't say weapons, they seized all those firearms for no reason at all. Now, I kicked up a big fuss about that, Police Complaints Authority, members of Parliament, friends in Parliament, and those officers got in a bit of trouble. Now, rather than just saying, okay, we made a mistake and give me my firearms back, it has gone on now for nearly a year, and it has become ridiculous. During the federal election, I was running for Wakefield. They came and arrested me in my house. They had no warrant, no reason to arrest me. It was a tactic to keep me from doing what's going on. I was wearing a recording watch, so I recorded the arrest and the fact that I asked all the right questions. All I wanted to see was a valid warrant. I didn't have one. When we got to the police station, they took that recording watch off me and put that inside their office, and then discussed a few things which I won't go into now because they will be assisting me in court. But the fact is, they arrested me for no reason. I was basically assaulted in the way I was driven in the back of that paddy wagon. the warrant that they made up after I was arrested was invalid, and they let me go and just apologised. That is not acceptable. People saw that happen. People will think that I'm some sort of criminal because they saw that on the TV. There should be a written apology, a public apology from the police, but no, they just keep going. So then they tried pressing charges that my guns weren't stored correctly, which is a very minor offence, but the fact was they were stored correctly, and I did have this video evidence. I wrote to the Commissioner and explained that these charges were incorrect and wrong. The charges were written up incorrectly. I said that I'd been arrested without a valid warrant. I explained the whole situation to the Police Commissioner and that I had video footage. That resulted in coming to my house and taking my computer and my phones, thinking that way they had the evidence I could use against them. Well, guess what, SAPOL? I have copies of all of that. That is unacceptable conduct. If police make a mistake, they should own up to it. If we make the slightest mistake, 5 k's over the speed limit, don't put our seatbelt on, forget to register our car, what happens? We get a huge fine. Why is it that SAPOL and the government are always exempt from making mistakes and not paying and having any accountability for what they do? Now, I'm taking it to court, and I'm taking the government to court and the police to court, and I'll keep doing that, because if we don't, as people, stand up for our rights and try and force some accountability on these people, they'll keep doing it. What right do they have to drag any innocent person through court? And when it's proven they've made a mistake, what does the innocent person have to pay? That is unacceptable. What can we do about affordable justice in this state? Well, voting for me, you can see that I want change, and I don't think this should happen to anybody. And I am not a criminal, I have no criminal offences at all, and I do not like being treated like one. And this has changed my life. This has changed my wife and my family's life, seeing me arrested for no reason. It was a terrifying experience. The only thing that saves me is that I'm quite apt in the court and I do understand the law, so I can represent myself. But for the rest of you out there, what happens when you get a fine? What if you go to court and they say this is going to cost you $20,000, but if you plead guilty, we'll let you off with a couple of thousand, and you're not guilty? Would you plead guilty to save that money? Well, some people do, and they shouldn't have to, ever. No person in this state should have to plead guilty to something they haven't done. They should not be intimidated and pushed and forced to try and do that. And for police to come and take my computer and my phone, and you all know, I'm sure you all know what it will be like to lose your phone and your computer, and then not answer calls. I now have to take legal action just to get my computer back and my phone back. And a lot of the information in there that I need to run this court case, and to also, I'm supporting lots of other people around Australia in court against organisations that are doing the wrong thing. All of my information is in that computer. So what I say to you all out there is, if you think this is okay, well then don't vote for me. Because if I get into the upper house, this is one of the first things I'll be attending to. And the Carno Walker, who's a fabulous man, Aboriginal elder and senior lawman for the Aboriginal community, has just gone through this exact stuff. He was arrested without cause. There is absolute evidence that the police should be charged, yet they go to court, cost him a lot of money, then say, okay, we want to drop the charges. That is unacceptable conduct, and that's my rant over. Thank you.